To the data channel, and you're watching SQL Bootcamp for data professionals. And as part of the topic 9, this particular video will be discussing SQL window functions in detail with different examples. And you might have heard about SQL window functions in like especially if you're taking interviews, and if you're preparing for interviews, and if you're looking for writing a complex business use cases where you want to write a query for those, right? And you might have encountered SQL window functions. So in this video we will crack what exactly the window function is, how exactly what are the different kinds of window functions, and how these are handy when you are kind of trying to solve a complex or write a complex SQL query, right, for different use cases. So before proceeding, if you are new to this channel, we would recommend you to please subscribe and also press bell button for instant notifications. Let's get started. Let's first understand what exactly window function. Window function is nothing but it's a syntactically one of the query that you will be using in when you're writing the SQL queries. So basically, SQL window function will enable you to perform certain calculation across a set of table rows that are related to a current row. Okay, without collapsing that them into a single result. So what that means is you have a table, right? So and you want to perform a it can be any operation, right? You want to take a salary, you want to take a average, any kind of a complex like simple to complex calculations that you want to perform on a set of rows. So set of rows here is nothing but you want to like a kind of aggregate certain rows in a table and only apply those logic to that aggregated rows. So without exactly applying it for a single result which with the collapsed without actually collapsing them into a single result, right? So if you use a group by and all, it will actually collapse into a single result set. But here it is different. Okay, let's see in the practicals. But that is where window functions come into picture. So these window functions are great for tasks like you want to kind of take a ranking. So this is a so especially if you are preparing for interviews and other things, right? We would recommend you to take a note of this, because so whenever there is a ranking comes into picture, or whenever there is a running total, running average kind of things come into picture, or moving averages will come into picture, and you want to take a cumulative stats on a particular KPIs you want to perform, right? So then window functions are definitely comes into picture, and they are definitely handy. Okay, so window functions computes its results based on a window of rows, right? So window of rows defined by over clause. Okay, that means like you can define window function is, as it says, is a set of records, window of records. Okay, so window of records, how do you define window of records? Where like in the syntactically where you perform a over clause over what, uh, whether it is on a employee ID, department ID, what exactly or what you want to perform, or like say there might be, if you take a sales table, so there might be a region ID. Okay, so on that region wise or department wise you want to perform apply this window function. So that's where you kind of apply that window using a over clause. So let's see how exactly the syntax look like. So we were calling it as a over. What exactly over means? Okay, so this is important to understand. So this, if you understand this, it make easy to write a query or integrate in a code where you are writing the SQL queries. So window functions can be anything. It can be rank, it can be dense rank, it can be like take for example, it can be a running average or running count or something like aggregated functions, right? But the important thing is the window functions. We will discuss that. We'll come to that. What are the different window functions? But over clause, inside over clause is what you give. So there is a partition by. So you can partition by is nothing but it is split the result into set of partition, and the window function is applied to each partition separately. Okay, suppose here you give by partition by department ID, right, and order by. So order by, generally you give it some kind of a date or timestamp range. Okay, so where you want to order that by So order by is again it's optional one. And finally you have a rows or range. Okay, so this specifies a window frame, limiting the set of rows for the function. Okay, so this is a syntax of how whenever you are writing the window function, please take a note of this. So now coming to the actual window functions. Window functions are like as you see I saw here right in the previous slide. Window function, you can window function starts and then over is what you write a partition by order by row, but after that the what exactly the window function you want to apply. So it can be a row number, it can be a rank, dense rank, lag lead, and you can calculate use a sum average to calculate the running total or running average. So it again depends, right? Like most of the cases, generally, right? So generally the row number will be used, rank will be used, and running total average will also be used. And especially if you are looking for the interview purpose, so definitely all these are important. Okay, so the whoever is interviewing you, right? So can ask questions related to this. So it is important to understand this from the interview perspective also if you are attending interviews where you have a skill set of SQL. Okay. So basically row number, right? So what does row number mean? Okay, so row number is basically one of the window functions that we are calling, right? It assigns a unique sequential integer to row with a partition. That means um, basically it gives like a sequential number where you can have that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 assigned. So you can use that, and rank is something which assigns a rank to each row with a partition with gaps for the tied values. So it actually gives the gap for the tied values, so for the rank. But the dense rank, which is similar to rank, so that is without gaps. Okay, that means like say for example you have, so the difference between rank and dense rank, right? So rank, suppose there is a salary of 10 rupees, 20, 30, say for example. Okay, and then 40, and again we have 40, and then we have 50, right? So this is say employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 employees are there. So when a rank is getting assigned, right? So first is first and you are giving a rank based on the salary, like first employee will get first rank, second will get second rank, third will get third rank, fourth will get fourth rank. But what is the next? So what is next is, so here when it comes to rank, so this particular rank assigns a rank to each row with a partition with gap for tied values. That means it gives a gap for the tied values. That means it just gives, like here it is 4 4, and then it becomes 6. Okay, so here it is, there's a gap between the tied value, right? But however when it comes to dense rank, what happens, right? So dense rank will actually without gaps or for the tied values. That means 1 2 3 4 rank and 4 rank, and then it will start with a 5 rank. There is no gap between these two, right? But here there is a gap. So this is basically rank, and this is basically dense rank. So that is the difference between rank and dense rank. So this is important to understand again from the interview perspective, and as well as whenever you are implementing it. So running total and running a total with some, and moving average with average, we will definitely see all these in practicals. So let's jump to the practicals. So now coming to the practicals of it. So like let's take an employee table where employee ID, first name, last name, department ID, salary, hire date is their job title, what is the manager ID, and then we have an employee ID and then phone number, right? So these are the different records. We have dummy records we have entered into the employee table, and with this employee table we will have certain calculations done now. So let's take for first example, we will take row number as example. So row number basically, as we said, row number is this function generate a unique row for each row in the result set. Okay, so this particular let's take a query of how exactly this look like. So as you can see, you have a you are so there is no group by here first thing. So when you are using the window functions, there is no concept of group by or anything like that, so it is independent of group by, so it is a separate logic altogether. And you are having a row number, so you want to you want to select the employee id, department id, salary from the employee table. Along with that, you want to also create a row number. Row number based on what? So based on what is something which will be, you will be giving in the over clause. So over clause, basically you are saying a partition by department ID and order by salary. Okay, that means for each department ID, okay, take the each department ID and put it into one window. Okay, that is why we are calling it as a window function. So whatever you give a like partition by, that is becomes your window. So here window is the department ID. So all the records under the one department ID will be put in one bucket, and then that will be ordered by salary. So then we are giving the row number. Let us see how that exactly looks like. Right. So now if you see, first the department ID 101 is taken, and then we are taking the salary by descending order. So this is one bucket, this is one window. Okay. So in this particular window, we are assigning the rank row number for that. Okay. This is a row number. Okay. And again, so for the department ID 102, again the row number will start from 1, as you can see. That is quite important, right? So non row number, it is not just a sequential number, but it actually depends on each whatever you are giving the department ID. So for each department ID starting, so it will start with 1. As you can see, from here to here it is one window. So for each window the row number will be applied separately. So that's why this window row number starts with 1 to 9. So this department row number starts from 1 to 7. So that's why it looks like that. And salary is descending, right? So that's why salary is descending. Okay, the highest salary in this department, the employee ID 3 person is having the highest salary. That is why he's in the top. Okay, that is how the row number looks like. This query particular assigns a unique row number to each employee within their department based on their salary in the descending order. So that's what it is. Okay, so let's understand similarly the as an example too, we will take as a rank function. Okay, so this rank function, what it does is it this is a function which kind of assigns uh, rows with the salary same value equally, but leaves gap in the ranking. Okay, so let's take again employee table here and apply the rank function. So again we are taking department ID and salary as an example itself. Let's see what exactly it looks like. Okay, so now you can see, like, let's take where there is a tie. Okay, so that it can, you will be able to easily understand this. Okay, let's take this as an example, right? So in this department ID 102, you can see there is a 1 2. Okay, the rank 1 2 is there, and then the 3 is assigned for both of these people because both of the people are earning same salary here. However, there is a skip after 3, there is no 4. Okay, there is a skip actually, that is what we say, but leaves a gap in the ranking. So there is no fourth rank here, it is skipping that rank. Okay, and it is starting with 5 again because there is a tie, so it is not assigning the 4 to that value. Okay, so that is how this looks like. However, if you take a dense rank, let's see the difference. So department ID 1 or 2. Okay, again we'll take this department ID. You can see here 1 2 3 3 is there, but again for the next there is no skip. So previous case it was 1 2 3 3 and then 5. Here there is no skip, 1 2 3 3, and then it is not skipping any rank, it is taking 4 and then 5 6 7 8, something like that, it goes on. So that's the difference between rank and dense rank. So that's simple as that. So it, like, you might be wondering if this is a difference, how exactly this make in the different in the real time scenario. Yeah, it again depends what how we want to implement that. So what is your real need of using rank and dense rank? So the name, remember that what is a dense rank? Dense rank means you are not skipping anything, that is why there is a name dense. Okay, rank means there can be a skip, it is not a dense. Okay, So I mean, practically you can use these in as a alternative. So you can use rank and dense rank as a substitute. Okay, you can use them, but there might be few cases where there is a business requirement driven cases where you want to apply specific functions. Okay, so then we have a lag and lead. Okay, so these are not most commonly used, but still it is good to understand what exactly these are. So this particular functions allows you to access the data from the previous or the next row in the partition. Interesting, right? So let us see. So what is the definition? So definition is allows you to access the data from the previous or next row in the partition. Okay, let us see. Okay, basically here, if you see, the query is returning the previous and next salary for each employee in the department, right? So if you take this department, so the previous salary, because here what we are doing is salary and then we are doing a jump of one. Okay, so that means the previous, what was the previous salary minus one. Okay, and here we are giving lead, that is next salary plus one. Okay, so that means it is a previous and next salary in that particular department for each employee. Okay, so here let's take employee, this is salary is this, salary is this one, right? And you are making an order by salary, so where it is a ascending order. Okay, so as you can see, the first salary is this one, and there is no previous salary because this is the first person in that department. And after this person, so there is a next person who is taking salary of 6,000, 68,000. So then the previous person's salary is this. So as you can see, it's keep on growing with that. So here 68 will come here and 70 will come here, 74 will come here, 76 is coming here. So this is a basically that. And similarly, if you want to take, this is a previous salary and what is the next salary, right? So next salary is this, right? So 7,000 is 7,000, 7,400 will come next salary. So it is exactly taking the next salary. Okay, so this is how the league and lead works. So you are giving a 1 year, you can take a jump of two, you can take a jump of three, and you are taking salary. So you can take example of maybe a transaction, right? So instead of salary, you want to take a transaction where you want to take the next transaction of a customer or previous transaction of a customer. You can do that. Okay, so you can think of many multiple scenarios. Okay, so now let's take a running total with a sum. So this is pretty much important. As a example 5, we will be taking this. So here again, what we are doing is we are again using a window function, okay, to calculate the running total. So what exactly running total? So running total, it's mostly asked in interview questions. So where you want to calculate the running total of this. Let's take example of this, right? Order by rows between unbounded preceding and current rows. Let's take this order by, just will give order by salaries. Okay, so let's take example of department ID 1. Okay, again, so running total or is nothing but here you have a department first employee, right? 67,000. So that is why running total is 67,000. So next is 60,000, 60,000, 67,000 plus 68,000. It is 135 k records, and again 135 k plus 70,000. So it will become this much. So this plus 74,000, it is 2 lakh 79,000. So end of the day, so the total department salary is this much, 6 lakh 92,000, because here it is a running, right? So for each employee you have, so it is calculating the running total. Okay, so how do you, the important to understand as from the again from the interview perspective, or you are, if you are on to understand this, right? So sum of salary is simple, right? So you're taking a sum of salary, but what you are writing inside the window function is important. So definitely you want to calculate based on the department ID. Okay, so you can give the department ID here, and then you want to order by salary. Okay, so suppose if I don't give the partition by, let's say example, so then there is no department here, right? So just over what you are doing, over order by salary you are giving. So this is important. What exactly you want to perform on, right? So you are performing on salary. So that's why it is taking the running total of all, actually all employees irrespective of the department. But if you want to give a window, so here you can specify that window where you specify the department ID as well. Okay, so you can play around with this, so where you can get by each department, and then you can order by salary, ascending, descending. So usually running total will be ascending. Okay, you can even give descending, and you can try it out what happens. Okay, but end of the day, this total running salary will not change. It is just about, it is taking the salary by highest to lowest instead of lowest to highest. Okay, so then like last we will take example of moving average. Okay, so moving average is another example we will take as example sixth, which is the last example here. So here window function is used to calculate the moving average using a window function. So again, if you take here, it will take an average, right? Average of a salary. So you have employee ID, department ID, salary. You can select whatever the columns you need, but here in the average, when you're doing an average, right? So you want to calculate the moving average. So moving average, you are, instead of sum, you are giving a average here. But again, over what you are giving is important. Over partition by department ID, order by what? Okay, order by salary you are doing, and then partition by department ID. So that's why you are getting the running average here, similar to the uh, running sum or running sum, yeah, total what we have calculated in the previous example. We were discussing, right? So the row number, rank, dense rank, lag, lead, and this concept that we discussed. So hope this was useful. If it is useful, please press subscribe button and also share with your friends. Hope it was useful. Thanks for watching.